Beat It AT, what up? Beat It AT, what up? Beat It
What's up, my brodies? It is Andrew of Beat It AT Production and Publishing, bringing you guys a brand new YouTube video. In this YouTube video, I'm going to be going over how to make powerful 808s and kicks in your beats, mostly for trap and hip-hop and modern rap style beats. We are going to be using samples from the AT placement pack. However, you guys can use other samples. I highly recommend any samples from the Beat It AT website, because the technique that I'm going through will always work with those samples. I cannot speak for other samples based on the fact that I don't know what other producers do for their samples or what samples you might be using, but these techniques will work with any samples off of the Beat It AT website. I have some melody loops in here just as like placeholders, just to get quickly work and get this started. I'm gonna play what we got. I only got like a hi-hat, snare, and then these 3 melody loops. We're not really making a whole beat. We're just going to be making a 808 pattern around these melodies, as well as then making the mix of that 808 as well as the kick come out a whole lot stronger. So I'm going to go ahead and play what we got. These melody loops are from the AT placement pack, which is a special pack that's only available for a limited time. So I'll put the link to all the samples and such down in the description down below. If you guys have any questions, be sure to leave a comment as well. So as you guys can see, we're in 152 BPM and the sample is in F minor. So whenever you are making your 808 samples, you need to make sure your 808's in key, and then you can start drawing out the notes. Whenever you get samples from Beat It AT website, the Beat It AT website, all this 808 samples are always on key to C, so you don't need to do any work like that. I know a lot of other producers and sample makers don't tune their 808s to C, so you might have to retune it. So I'm not going to go over retuning the 808, but so we can go into our 8. Let's go to the kick pattern real quick. I know we're jumping around, but in the kick pattern, I'm going to lay down a basic kick. Normally I would put it right there, but we're going to skip, kick, skip, done. So something like this. So that kick is pretty light. So I guess we could start with the mix of the kick first. I like to add an EQ. I like to go for like a low mid because I kind of want that kick to be, you hear that thump, and I don't want to go in that sub or bass area where the frequencies might be competing with that 808 or bass line. So I'm going to do a little bit of a boost around 240, and then like a very smaller boost in like 5 to 700 range. So then we're gonna go for a little bit low, just to go around 110. Little dip there. I don't really need any frequencies up here, so I'm just gonna roll it off a little bit. Now with the kick, we're not gonna technically really, with just that EQ, we're not gonna notice a whole lot. I'm also gonna make my kick mono. Pull down that hi-hat a little bit more. Now, what you can do is use the fruity fast distortion, because I'm adding a little distortion to that kick, but I'm really not trying to distort it where it sounds like it's a big clipping block. I'm personally going to use a Camel Crusher. I love Camel Crusher. We're going to be using this for the 808 as well, but let's I'm going to pull down that compression, Turn my master volume all the way up. Keep these real low. So I just pulled up that the mech distortion, and you could kind of see it makes it more like punchy. Now, honestly, it could be good like this, but one thing I like to do is add the sound godizer, and sometimes I get a little shit for using the sound godizer because it's a master or maximizing plugin. However, I use it like whenever I'm putting it on my master, I do it like this, but on my kick I might actually have a lot of sound godizer. Now listen after we put it on the kick. Now that hits a whole lot harder without it. With it. So now that's a pretty solid kick. It has a real punch to it. And so now we kind of got our kick. Let's go ahead to our 808. One thing you can do is do the cut to self under the miscellaneous functions, or you could just change your ADSR settings, your attack, push that hold, pull down the decay, pull down that sustain, pull down the release, ADSR, and then H is somewhere in there. But I'm gonna go here, go to helpers, scale highlighting, go to F minor. Aeolian is a modern minor scale, so F minor. So now we have our scale set to F minor. Now one thing I'm gonna do as well is go to Addison. This is on that main melody. Since I'm working with a sample, I can't see on the note on the piano roll where on the notes it's hitting. So I'm just gonna go to record. We're doing this just so we could figure out any prominent keys. F, 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 C sharp, E, F. So honestly, we could just put our thing in F and then C sharp for the 808s. So you'll see what I mean. Let's go up one line. So I think so it's Control A, Control L. Pull down these levels a little bit. So that works as a 808 pattern. Everything's on key, everything is on beat, in sync, so we don't really have to worry about anything sounding off or odd. Now what we can focus it on is the mix. Now that 808's already a pretty good 808. After we do the mastering such, honestly, it'll be pretty good, but it's not perfect. So what can we do to make it perfect? Let's pull up the parametric EQ, or whatever EQ you like using. I'm already gonna round off up to like 2K. Like 20K. Sorry. Is that 2K or 20K? 2K. Alright, sorry, I'm blind. And so around here, I'm gonna do a little bit of a boost between 80 hertz to 110. So maybe like a 90 or so I'm gonna actually pull two. I'm gonna do a little bit of a hump bump around 50. So really, I like 50 hertz, 50, 60 hertz is really subby. And then 90 to like 120 is more upper frequency bass. And that's going to allow it to be a little bit more audible. The sub is going to hit really hard, so you don't want to go crazy with the sub. And what I might do is then do like a very slight gain in like the low mid, just so you could hear on more speakers. Because some speakers, like the iPhone speakers, don't pick up those super low frequencies, or even some headphones. So now after that, we could go about this two different ways. We can use the R-Bass plugin in Waves, or we could use a Camel Crusher. Now, I don't think the R-Bass plugin in Waves is going to really fit this 808 or the vibe that I'm kind of going for, because it's going to manipulate the bass a little bit differently. So I'm actually going to go with the Camel Crusher. Pull all these settings down, push the master volume up, but pull these down. You don't need to do a whole lot. You see, I'm doing very small tweaks. I can even pull this master volume down, but I'd rather pull it through the fader. I like to have my kick hovering a little bit over my 808 tucked behind my kick a little bit. More I were to tuck that 808, more you would hear that kick being prominent. Whereas if I had the 808 going over the kick, it tends to usually sound really funky, and not in a good way. Kind of like there's this big sub hovering over this like sub kick, or like a sub click, because that's technically what the kick drum kind of is doing. It's kind of more so acting as a click to have that impact hit a little bit harder. It's not, at least for this scenario, and more of those club trap type of beats. Now for obviously boom bap old school, the kick drum's a little bit different. You might be using more of a natural kick drum, but in this case we're using more of a synthetic drum machine style kick drum. So now we kind of got a pretty booming low end on this beat. We can honestly add a little bit sound goodizer on that master. This is like what I'm talking about, like this much. And then I like to use the Ozone 8 mastering plugin. If you guys want to get Ozone 8, I will link down in the description as well. We can get Ozone 8. The website that I linked is a website where you get a lot of good deals and specials for plugins. So definitely go cop Ozone 8. I love it. And I use the Ozone 8 Advanced version. So I don't need the EQ. I don't really need the dynamics. I'm just looking for the maximizer and vintage limiter. I'm gonna go to modern, pull these up. So yeah, this is pretty much how you can make a booming 808 and strong kick. It's really not that complicated. It's more so getting your samples right and then knowing what you should be doing. Don't overdo it. It's easy to overdo compression, as well as EQing. So work with the samples. Try to get good monitors, and then headphones, so you guys could try to hear everything. If you're working off of laptop speakers, it's kind of hard to hear low frequencies. But if you guys get some Audio Technica, yeah, these are the audio. I think they're audio. Yeah, Audio Technica ATH M50X, or you could get. I think they're the M30X. Good headphones. I'll put the links to those in the description as well. So yeah, this is Andrew, Beat It AT. If you guys want to go get these samples, go to the link down in the description as well. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna play this.